friends, in this video we shall learn about the conquest of the Sindh. So the first question is, when did the British begin to show interest in Sindh and why? The British began to show interest in Sindh in the early 19th century. They received trading facilities or farman by the Mughal, during 1630. Now, who was ruling the Sindh before Talpura armies, and when did their rule start? So, Sindh was ruled by Kallura chiefs before the rise of the Talpura armies. The Kallura rule began in 1758. So, what an all incident happened during the reign of the Kallura prince? The British built a trading factory at Thatta, and the English resisted their presence of other European traders effectively by banning them from trading in the Sindh. Now what British did? British gained an advantage by sending Azar Faraz Khan to Sindh in 1770, which strengthened their trade and political connection in the region. So who were the significant figures and the group involved in Sindh during this period? And they were the Baluch tribe, Mir Fateh, Char Yar and Durrani Emperor. Baluch tribe play a key role in Sindh's local dynamic. They are the local tribe. Now, Mir Fateh was a prominent leader connected to the Sindh's history, and Char Yar, the brother of Mir Fateh, possibly influential in Sindh's affair. Durrani Emperor, we all know, represented the broader political influence in the realm during that time. Now, Sindh was divided in 18th century by armies of Sindh due to internal politics disputes and the difficulty of managing the region as a unified kingdom. Lord Wellesley, the Governor General of India, had expanded British influence in Sindh in 1799 as a part of larger policy of controlling trade and securing the British dominance in the subcontinent India. Also, we have to know who was Shah Jahan. So, Shah Jahan was connected to Sindh, and he was involved in political and trade related matters in Sindh. Now let's see what is written over here. In the early 19th century, the British began to show interest in Sindh, where they received some trade facilities by the Farman of Mughal Emperor in 1630. So British turned towards Sindh because they wanted to trade in Sindh as well, and they have received the trading facility Farman of Mughal Emperor in 1630. Now, rise of Talpura armies. In the 18th century, before the rule of Talpura armies, Sindh was ruled by Kallura chiefs. In 1758, an English factory was built at Thatta during the time of Kallura Prince Ghulam Shah. So, during the time of Kallura Prince Ghulam Shah, the British had built their factory at Thatta. In 1761, Ghulam Shah, upon the arrival of an English resident at his court, barred other Europeans from trading there, and the British continued to enjoy this advantage until 1775, when Sarfaraz Khan forced the British to close the factory. in 1770, a Baluch tribe called Tarpura moved out of the hill and settled in the plain of the Sindh. So they were the local tribe, okay, and they were an excellent soldier. In 1783, Talpura, under the leadership of Mir Fateh Ali Khan, established complete control over Sindh and sent the Kallora prince into exile. Now understand that this word exile means the state of being forced to live away from one's home or the country. Okay, and they had to live away from the country as a punishment due to political circumstances. In this context, the Kallora prince was removed from his homeland Sindh and was compelled to live elsewhere, losing his position as well as influence. So, what made him to live away from his own place is that in 1770, a Baluch tribe called Talpura moved out of the hill and settled in the plain of Sindh. Means Talpura tribe originally residing in the hilly region, and they had to migrate to the fertile plain of the Sindh. This movement was marked the beginning of their integration into Sindh's political and social landscape. Their expertise as a skilled soldier gave them an advantage in establishing influence over the region. And by 1783, Fateh Ali Khan, a prominent leader of the Talpura tribe, led a successful campaign to gain control and dominance over the Sindh. His leadership united the Talpura tribe, allowing them to overpower the existing ruler and consolidate their authority. Now, what happens when they will gain the control over the Sindh? Who? This Mir Fateh Ali Khan. Then what he will do after gaining control? The Talpuras were dethroned from ruling the Kallora dynasty, and the Kallora prince, who represented the former ruler, was forced to leave Sindh and live in a foreign or a distant land to ensure that the Talpuras gained control over the Sindh. Okay. So we have to remember that Talpuras were skilled soldiers, and therefore they strategically moved from the hill to the plain and utilized their military powers. And after that, under the leadership of Fateh Ali Khan, they will remove the prince of Kallora dynasty, and thus the Talpuras' dominance began in over the Sindh. Okay. Next is then the Durrani emperor Mir Fateh Khan's claim and ordered him to share the country with his brother, the Mir's brother, known as Charyar. When Mir Fateh died in 1800, Charyars, calling themselves Amirs of Sindh, and divided the kingdom among themselves. Okay. Gradual ascendancy over the Sindh. A common belief in the late 18th century was that Napoleon was plotting with Tipu Sultan to attack India. The impetus behind Lord Wellesley's effort to revive the commercial relations with Sindh in 1799 was to counter the alliance of the French Tipu Sultan and the Kabul Emperor Shah Jahan. But due to the influence of Tipu Sultan in October 1800, the Amir ordered British agent to leave Sindh within 10 days. So, Durrani's emperor's confirmation. The Durrani emperor, a powerful ruler in the region, officially recognized Mir Fateh Khan's rule over the Sindh. However, he ordered Mir Fateh Khan to share power with his brother Charyar. Okay, he had ordered Mir Fateh Khan to share the power with his brother Charyar. Now, division of the Sindh. After Mir Fateh Khan's death in 1800, Charyar and other brothers declared themselves as ruler of the Sindh. Ruler means Amirs. And they will divide Sindh into smaller parts, each ruling over the portion of the kingdom. Now, what happened during the late 18th century? There was a widespread belief that Napoleon Bonaparte was planning to ally with Tipu Sultan of Mysore to attack India. And this had created a sense of urgency for the British to counter any such alliance. Okay? Then what happened? Lord Wellesley's effort in 1799, that Lord Wellesley, the British Governor General of India, made a strong effort to establish trade and diplomatic ties with the Sindh in 1799. And his goal was to prevent a possible alliance between the Napoleon Tipu Sultan and the Kabul Emperor Shah Jamal, which could threaten British interest in India. So, British agent expelled from the Sindh. Now, despite of British effort, the influence of Tipu Sultan in 1800 led the Amirs of Sindh to distrust the British. And the Amir ordered the British agent in Sindh to leave the territory within 10 days, signaling the end of the diplomatic relation at that time. Okay. So this period was marked by the political tension with the British, and British were trying to secure alliance in Sindh to counter the threat from Napoleon Bonaparte, then Tipu Sultan and Shah Jamal. Okay. However, internal divisions among Sindh's rulers and influence of Tipu Sultan led to break down the British-Sindh relation by 1800. So this was all thing we have discussed. Now we will discuss about Treaty of Eternal Friendship. Okay. In June 1807, Napoleon Bonaparte joined the alliance of Tilsit with Alexander I of Russia. Okay. One of the conditions of the alliance was joint invasion of India by land. To create a barrier between Russia and the British India, Lord Minto sent Metcalfe to Lahore and Elphinstone to Kabul and Malcolm to Tehran to form alliance. Nicholas Smith visited Sindh and first treaty was signed between the British and the armies, and both sides agreed to expel the French from Sindh and exchange agents in others' court. The treaty was renewed in 1820 after the final defeat of the Maratha Confederacy in 1818. Then Treaty of 1832. So what happened in 1807? First understand that Napoleon's alliance with Russia posed a threat to the British India. So Lord Minto's strategic diplomacy and treaties combined with the defeat of Maratha in 1880 helped the British to secure their position in India. and these actions laid the groundwork for the further British expansion and consolidation in this region. Okay, and that what was Napoleon's alliance of Tilsit in 1807? So, in June 1807, Napoleon Bonaparte formed an alliance with Alexander I of Russia through the Treaty of Tilsit. One of the conditions in this alliance was a joint plan to invade India via land. The goal was to weaken the British power in India by creating a barrier between the British controlled India and the Russia. So in response to this great threat, Lord Minto, who was the Governor General of India, took a proactive step to form alliance with the regional power to counter the potential French and the Russian threat. So he sent British representatives to important regions. He sent Metcalfe to Lahore to secure the relations with the Sikh Empire under Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He sent Elphinstone to Kabul to create a very friendly ties with the ruler of the Afghanistan, and he sent Malcolm to Tehran to strengthen the British influence in Persia. So these alliances were meant to create a diplomatic buffer zone to protect India. Now, the first treaty between the British and the Amir of Sindh, also called as Treaty of Eternal Friendship. So Nicholas Smith was sent to Sindh to negotiate a treaty with the Amirs. The first Treaty of Friendship or Eternal Friendship was signed with the key point that both the parties agreed to expel the French from the Sindh if they attempted to establish a presence, and they also agreed to exchange agents in each other's region to maintain the peace and good relations. This treaty was later renewed in 1820, reaffirming the alliance. Okay. The next is Treaty of 1832. So let's discuss the same. In 1832, William Bentinck sent Colonel Pattinagar in Sindh to sign treaties with Amirs. The provisions of the treaty were as follows. So what happened? English merchant and the travelers would be allowed to use the Indus for trading purpose, but no warship would sail, nor would any material for war be carried. So these were the conditions imposed. Now, no English trader would settle in Sindh and passport would be required for the traveler. So these are some steps they have taken, and under this treaty, tariff rate could be altered by the Amirs if found high. No military dues or tolls would be demanded. The Amir would work together with the king of Jodhpur to crush the robbers of Kutch. The parties would not be jealous of each other. So the key feature of Treaty of 1832 was the trading rights. The treaty granted the British to get the right to trade through the Indus River, which was a vital commercial route, and it opened Sindh's region to the British merchant. And non-interference clause. The British promised not to interfere Sindh's internal governance or politics matter. Also, navigation on the Indus River, that means the British were permitted to navigate the Indus River for commercial purposes, boosting their access to Central Asia. Restriction on the British military presence. So, the Amir of the Sindh allowed British trader for trading, but prohibited the stationing of the British troops in Sindh to maintain their sovereignty. This was one of the important things. For example, British merchants could transport goods like cotton, indigo, textile through Sindh without facing any local taxes or restriction. And while the treaty appeared to ensure mutual benefit, it paved the way for British influence in Sindh, eventually leading to its annexation in 1843. So in 1843, it was annexed. This is all for this video, friends. In the next video, we shall discuss about Lord Auckland and the Sindh. Till then, take care and keep studying.